I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 So welcome to the Canadian 4-on-4 Ultimate Championships, the C4UC. We are in Ottawa, Ontario at the Hornets Nest Soccer Park. And I am not here by myself. I'm Chantal Dussault, and I'm here with
Kat Martin.
Hi, Kat. It's so good to be here with you today, and we are lucky enough to comment a juniors game today. So we've got the team from Winnipeg, Manitoba, called Toba, and the team from Newfoundland called Storm. So can you tell me a little bit about these teams?
So Storm is a very exciting team because they started in 2017 with a full open team to CUC, followed by 2018 with both open and women's teams at CUC. So it's really because Storm has an annual presence at the C4UC since the junior division was introduced. And then with Manitoba, this is Toba's third year entered at the team as at C4UC juniors as well.
So exciting because there's junior teams. There's 8 junior teams at this national competition. There are teams from BC, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and Newfoundland. And so we're very excited to see teams that don't typically get to play together. So before we start, let's just do the land acknowledgement. So Ottawa is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, Kat. We've got BE Ultimate, Discraft, Chocolat Favori Orléans, Ottawa Tourism. And we really would like to thank the Hornets Nest Soccer Park because this venue was not supposed to be where we were going to be today.
Our original venue was supposed to be at Laurier Dome, which is literally down the road from here. But unfortunately, their indoor dome collapsed. So luckily, and this was about a month ago, Hornets Nest was able to accommodate 288 players and coaches here today for C4UCs.
That's amazing. So as a recap, the Canadian Ultimate Championships, the rules are all games are 50 minutes long, 5-0, and the play will stop until the whistle is blown for the end of the game. There is a halftime that will be at 24 minutes, and halftime lasts 2 minutes sharp. And each team can call 1 timeout per game. And the timeouts, if they call them, they can choose not to, but if they do, it's 60 seconds.
Okay.
So we've got, in white, the team from Newfoundland, Storm. And in dark, we've got Manitoba, Toba from Winnipeg on our left here on the screen. So Storm is starting with the disc. The team is setting up in the formation of their choice, and the disc is in. Got a high outside in throw. The players are just warming up, even though this is maybe the 4th game of their day, and there's a turnover. So you can see a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement.
Especially being on a live stream for a junior, sometimes the nerves get to them.
And here we go with Manitoba in possession. Small up the line throw to number 3 Redder. And overthrown, was aiming to find Horn, Kate Horn, the teammate, but that disc was overthrown and outside the end zone. So the goal is to make passes, and once we have the disc, we can't run. We have the disc for 10 seconds, and the goal is to make some passes. There are almost no limits as to how we can pass the disc, as long as we're not running with it. And then we want to catch it in the end zone. So we can see Storm in white handling. And sometimes what happens is we catch it, but we look up too quickly and we forget to really secure that disc. And so that's what happened there. As soon as there's a drop, it goes to the other team immediately. And so now we've got Manitoba in possession of the disc. So that was Friesen passing it to Redder. Friesen's open in the end zone and catches it, leaves her feet in for a first point. Toba won.
And Friesen is really exciting because he's a top junior player in Manitoba. He was selected for the developmental player for TCU20 in 2024. Friesen was also trained and traveled with Fusion, the Manitoba's women's team.
Yeah, Amber Friesen. I think I remember from last Nationals, I was lucky enough to comment Nationals last year, and I believe there was a Friesen on that team. Although Manitoba has a very strong community of players, and so sometimes it's the brothers and sisters. So here we go. We've got Toba with possession, looking to swing it. Great one-handed grab close to the ground. Wide throw, but intercepted by number 69, Patty Gillespie on Storm. Storm with the possession. Intercepted! Number 21, Steadwell, makes that interception.
And I think he caught
it
behind.
again. Sorry to interrupt. That was a great layout by Thériault, you were saying?
I think he caught it behind his back when he intercepted that originally, too.
Seeing some great plays. Thériault off to Gillespie. Swinging it in the center. We've got Traverse to Gillespie. Swinging it back, which is that very senior move to do, to go back. It's not always necessary to keep going forward. As long as we're keeping possession, it's a good move. Storm being really patient, but making that throw just a little bit outside of the zone. So we've got Toba now with possession, flips it up, but it's intercepted by Gillespie. Looking to make a safe throw to Thériault. Thériault in possession. Looking up the field, looking for something that's obviously open. Taking this time, 8. We've got upward. Pushes it into the end zone, but unfortunately in the end zone there was a defense. And so that was not completed. It'll be Manitoba back on 0. A nice swing to open up the field. We got Steadwell trying to get open. And a nice little dump pass. Still possession for Manitoba. Looking upfield. A great cut by number 60, McLaren. McLaren to Friesen. Amber Friesen throws it just a little bit wide. So it'll be back in the hands of the Storm team from Newfoundland. Thériault picking it up. Really nice lunges and nice handler movement from Thériault. Unfortunately not completed this time. So Toba will get another chance.
So after speaking to Toba, they told me that their goal is to place top 4 or higher this tournament.
It's going to be a good matchup. So Toba is putting it all out there. They want to be top 4. I think they were saying they've come 3 or 4 times. This is their 4th or third
year.
Third year coming to this tournament from Manitoba.
And we have to keep in mind, this is still an ongoing point. It's still, you know, a lot of turnovers, a lot of same energy that they're both displaying, the same intensity. So it's very exciting to watch.
And it's exhausting. A point that lasts this long in 4x4. I mean, you're sprinting almost all the time when you play 4 against 4. So kudos to all the players putting out all this energy. All right, number 21 from Toba, Steadwell. But it's overthrown by number 60, McLaren. So, Kat, do you think that it's the nerves of this first point, or, well, it's the second point because the score is already 1-0 for Manitoba. But this is an uncharacteristically long point.
There could be a lot of things on the line here. It could be, you know, trying to win their pool. It could be this could be their crossover game. Other things that could also add is this may not be their first game of the day. You know, they're tired. It's been a long day of ultimate frisbee, so this is
That's
there's
a good
lot of
point.
factors to
And both
come
of
in.
these teams had to travel to get here, right? One team is from Manitoba and the other one is from Newfoundland, and we're in Ottawa. So both teams have had significant travel. They've taken a timeout, which well-deserved timeout. Points don't usually last this long in 4x4, so the players are tired. And sometimes what happens when we're tired is we make a decision that we may not make if we had a little bit more energy.
It's just sometimes you're so impatient. You just want to go off, so you just start to throw whatever you think could get you the quickest point to get off and get some water.
Yes, maybe I'm guilty of that myself sometimes, you know. So I empathize and I understand. And I think that probably comes with a lot of experience to be able to still make the right decisions. In fact, some teams train, right? They train that mental ability to make decisions when you're tired. So they specifically train to get the players really, really exhausted, and then have drills about decision making for this exact reason.
It sounds very military-like.
Yeah, ultimate frisbee, military, we'll get back to you.
Spirit of the game, I promise.
Spirit of the game. Tell us a little bit about Spirit of the game, because it's so special with ultimate frisbee.
Spirit of the game is really wonderful because it really is the chance for, because we don't have any referees, so it really has the opportunity for players to really get to know the rules and talk and communicate with the other players, and also build that relationship on and off the field with the other team and their own team as well.
Yeah, such a foundational aspect of ultimate frisbee as opposed to other sports. No referees. So the teams are back on. They look somewhat refreshed. And we've got number 60, Cassius McLaren, who's going to pick it up from Manitoba. And they had a set play on that. They were able to complete a reset pass, and McLaren's got it back. Looking for Friesen, but she's out by herself. Steadwell caught the disc. Steadwell again, just on the line of the end zone. The line is not in. Looking to punch it in, but no, resets, which is that really sort of senior move, right? Expert move to reset it in the back instead of trying to punch it in when it's not 100% throw. Steadwell gets the disc again. Friesen up the line. Chooses to throw back to McLaren on a swing. Outside in, flick pass to Steadwell. And then a break side throw that's just a little bit high for McLaren, and that's not completed. So we've got Storm of Newfoundland who's going to get their chance to score this marathon point. Traverse secures that disc, hands it over to Thériault. Thériault in the middle. Players are circling. Gillespie making a safe throw to Traverse. Throw gets intercepted by Steadwell. McLaren up to Friesen. Friesen's on the sideline. Yes, great cut by Steadwell. Down to Friesen in the end zone to mark the end of this marathon point. So it is 2-0 for Manitoba.
And it was very strategic because on Toba's line that they just had, they had two TC players because McLaren was also a TC player on the U20 Open in 2024, and he was selected as a developmental player.
So strong players on both teams, and they put out that line, and they were doing a great job of matching themselves up against each other. So that lasted a very long time. So games last 50 minutes, but that point was almost 10 minutes all to itself.
There we go. Halftime will come sooner than we anticipate.
Some points can be very fast, so let's see how this one goes. All right, we've got a hammer throw on Newfoundland side. We've got Coffin who's handling, and that was just a little bit overthrown to Dodd. A swing pass for Manitoba. Redder catches it in the corner. Klassen secures the disc, puts it up, but it's not caught and finally intercepted by the other player. A hammer floating and just missed by Storm from Newfoundland. So Toba is now doing a bit of give-go. Klassen puts it up to her teammate, number 27, Traverse, who's looking for her final target. And there it is, number 3. Redder. I think that was Kate Horn who made the pass to Redder on Manitoba side.
So a little fun fact about Storm's team is a lot of their players are left-handed. So you have about 3 players on their team that are left-handed.
Oh, that's a lot of left-handed players. So we've got Horn with the disc on the sideline. She puts it up, and it is caught by Jonah Wong. Manitoba brought out a really good roster. You know, sometimes we'll see that the team has barely enough to do 2 lineups, but Manitoba's got a full roster here. They've got 12 players, which is 3 full different lines.
And Manitoba really wants their team identity to be known as their athleticism and their speed.
And it is, you can see it. All right, Storm with the disc now. Beautiful break throw. And then catches that back. So that's Thériault handling that disc. Puts it up long to Traverse. But the disc curves, and it's just out of catching ability for Traverse. Back into the hands of Toba. Bringing it up to the line is their handler. Beautiful swing pass by Zhang. Kelly has that disc. An air bounce throw, put up in the end zone. It is caught. Was it caught inbound by Zhang? It was. So that's another point for Manitoba.
So it'll be interesting to see how Storm is going to climb back up, because they told us that their goal was to medal or finish day 1 at the top of their pool. So we'll see how resilient they are after their... I thought they were having a timeout, just a sideline talk.
No. Yeah, we will see how resilient they are. I mean, this is just the beginning. I mean, it's only 4-0. It's the game is very new. This could go either way. And what's really interesting is that we saw different points by Manitoba, and there's so many different players every time on the line, you know? Not many repeat players, so really great depth to the team for Manitoba.
Well, Manitoba literally said that their offensive and defensive style is to use a variety of strategies on both O and D, because they want to keep their opponents guessing. So clearly it's working.
Yes, they're using a variety of strategies and a variety of players. All right, we've got Storm back with the disc. Throwing it in the center to recenter, which is great because it gives so many opportunities to throw. Up. Playing nicely. Coffin. Doesn't find anything obvious, so he puts it back in the center and then gets it again on the sideline. Coffin. There's good poaching happening from Manitoba, which is preventing fast passes from happening. Really smart poaching happening from Manitoba. Dangerous to throw in that condition. And they're switching the force. Manitoba is not only poaching, they're switching the force, which makes it very difficult for Storm to understand where they can throw without it being intercepted. We've got Parmitter with the disc. Disc is saved by Coffin. Coffin looking for his next target. And it is caught in the end zone by Storm. Great, amazing patience, Kat.
And it's funny that they were it's actually really great how well they were able to adapt, because their offensive style for Storm was to do a lot of give and goes or try to do a lot of unpredictable plays to always keep the defense from setting into a rhythm. So it was great how fast they were at adapting and recognizing what Manitoba was doing when they were setting their defense on them.
That was a really challenging defense, right? I mean, there was some poaching, there was some changing of the force, and yet I saw a lot of calmness from Storm and a lot of composure, and they were able to make that point through that. I mean, kudos.
It's the calm before the storm.
Calm before the storm. Wow, 2 layouts at the same time. The offense says they caught it. So let's see here how that how that lands in terms of calling it. So when there's a disc up in the air and the two catch it at the same time, then the offense gets to keep it. In this case, it could be that both caught it, or maybe he had caught it and then the defense fell on him, which caused him to lose it, which would also make the offense keep it in that case. So they're discussing, which is one of the great things about Ultimate.
It's one of the things I respect, especially at the junior level. I find juniors are very good at communicating in a respectful and calm manner. And they're just able to communicate effectively. They shake hands like that, so it's really great display of spirit of the game.
That's amazing, yes. So back to thrower. Number 36, Klassen. Puts it up, and Wong has it. Wong looking for Klassen. Yes, beautiful up the line throw to Klassen. Just not inside the end zone yet. Klassen looking for Kelly. Zhang has the disc. Puts it up to Kelly. Just a little bit of reach. So Storm will get a chance to get that back. So the score is 4-1 for Toba. But let me tell you, it is a very tight match.
I would say the score doesn't reflect the tightness of this match, the turnover rate, the intensity.
I agree. And here Manitoba gets to have it right on the edge of their sideline. And this is always really tricky. How do you not create too much traffic to block your own selves? And here we go, that's how. Beautiful cut in by Jada Kelly, number 6 from Manitoba. And the end zone had been really clear, and so that's how Manitoba was able to make that last point.
I know Storm was really trying to force their Toba into less comfortable decisions so that they can force them into more turnovers and mistakes. Earlier when Toba was switching their mark, one of the challenging things about switching your mark is you have to communicate with the rest of your team, because if you're not aware, then it's easy to get broken.
Yes, and that's where a roster of 3 full lineups, so 12 players, is really helpful, because you can hear them yelling, force away, force away. And so it's really clear which side the force is going. Oh, beautiful interception by number 77. Maybe 27. Okay, his shorts don't match his shirt. All right, number 2. That's Friesen. Throwing to Redder. Back to Friesen. Yeah, that was Steadwell, number 21. And there we go. Beautiful catch by Friesen. So Toba scores 1 more point.
Now, Storm is known to have a mantra of never giving up. So hopefully, again, with their resilience, you can see it again. I don't think the score reflects what their intensity and what they're doing on the field is showing.
100% agree. And the game is still young. I mean, we're not at half yet. So a 4-point difference is definitely something that we've seen absolutely possible for Storm to overcome this point differential. They're just getting calibrated. In Newfoundland, they don't have that many options to go and travel and meet up with teams. So they're learning quite a lot, and they're gelling also as the day is moving on. So a lot of learning and growing happening here. So Thériault with the disc for Storm. Is looking for a great option. Has up the line with number 14, Jacobs. And a blady throw in the end zone that was just over the head of Jane Harris. Or of Sarah Dodd. And then in the end zone for Toba, Charlie Tannehill tried to keep it in, but it was just a little bit too far. So it's turned over, and now Storm has the disc. So intercepted, but Jacobs maintains possession. Thériault back with the disc. Swings it over to Jacobs. Through in the middle, up to Thériault. And then they're taking the time. They're taking the time to assess what is the best throw. Back in the middle to Harris. Harris to Thériault. Thériault thought about throwing that in. Not the best move. Back to Jacob and into that's a beautiful give-go.
Just a nice threading the needle right there. really seeing taking their time, the patience, using the field space, and really executing at the perfect time.
Absolutely. And so the Sarah Dodd was there and was right in the middle and was able to capture that disc, as you said, as they were threading the needle.
And actually, a fun fact about Sarah Dodd, she's the sister of Maria Dodd, who Maria Dodd plays on the Bad Temperament, which is the sister team of Storm. And Maria Dodd is the first woman from Newfoundland to play TCU 20 women's.
Which is awesome. And we had the opportunity to comment their game earlier today, Bad Temperament, so you can go and check it out. So here we go, long throw, jumps in. Was that enough to secure? That player says yes. So that's number 33, Jack Henwood from Manitoba, saying yes.
As we said, we can have long points of 15 minutes and quick points of 30 seconds.
You just can't look away. You don't have, 2 minutes to look away. So it is halftime already. So as we come into half, the teams will have 2 minutes to regroup, get some water, get some food. The score is 7-2 for Manitoba. What are your thoughts about this game so far?
I think this will be a good time. Oh, looks like it's not halftime yet.
Oh, maybe it was just a timeout. We're confirming. We're not sure. Was that just a timeout? Yeah. Oh, that was just a timeout. Okay. Wrong information we have.
Very quick
so
timeout.
We're back. Yeah. We're back. We'll have the halftime later.
But it
All
looks
right.
like both teams have now used up their timeout for the game.
Yes.
So we won't be getting any more timeouts technically until the end of the game.
Okay, now they're saying there's no point because now it is half. The whistle did blow right before that was caught, and therefore there is no point for that one. Okay, here we go. That's why we thought it was half. It's halftime.
But I do want to do a nice shout out because Bad Temperature and Storm are such a community.
...16 senior teams, but as you said, as time goes on, some of the juniors do graduate to become seniors, and this is one of their favorite events.
And it's very exciting because oftentimes, and there's studies that show that sometimes when youth enter their adulthood, they stop playing sports. So it's great that they're graduating to the adult teams and they're continuing to play in adults, and eventually some of them will even graduate into masters as well.
Oh yes, and then grandmasters, and then great grandmasters. Let me tell you about it. No, for real. So about this game, so what are your thoughts? I mean, could this go either way still?
I think so. Like I said, I don't think the score reflects the game, the intensity that they're putting in. This may be a good time for Storm to just try and find other strategies, because there seems to be a disconnect or where they're not scoring, but they're still intense on the field. They have the connection as they're flowing. So it's just the point. It's just that last cherry on top.
Yes. And when we're in a junior division, like there's just a few things that we get to polish as we grow as junior teams. And junior teams will have, ebbs and flows of cores of players that get to play together, and that varies over the years. And so each of these teams is building that sort of core, and we're definitely seeing some really good chemistry on the field for both teams.
I find one of the nice things about Juniors Ultimate is that it's very structured. It's very textbook. And then when you go to adults, you see that you always have to adjust to new things, and that's when the adults will start to use their wisdom.
Yes, adult wisdom. So we saw there that number 36 on Toba, Sylvie Klassen, had the disc. There was a foul on her, so it did go back to her, but the play has since resumed. And here Toba is now trying to score on the left-hand side of the screen. We're seeing a great reset into Tannehill. What a beautiful catch by Toba's team. Scotty Steadwell, I believe that was.
He's just diving in the end zone.
An
literal
amazing,
dive.
yes. That looked very much like the logo for Ultimate Frisbee.
You'll see him on the next Discraft disc.
Yes, or on the next BE Ultimate disc.
Thank you, sponsors.
All right, so the score is now 7-2 for Manitoba. Continuing to increase that point differential, but we've got Storm here with the disc. Storm is going to try to score on the right-hand side of the screen for the second half. And so they're starting by recentering the disc. Because it's very busy on the field. Wonderful read and wonderful grab.
And that was a nice IO, too.
By number 11, the catch was Hannah Beatty for Storm.
And this was their strategy, too, from the start. Storm wanted on their O strategy to be using the space and really adapting to it to create as much room as they can to create that rhythm, to create that space and opportunities for other players to cut.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity. So it's now 7-3. 8-3, sorry. So disc is up, and it is caught. So now that's a new point by Manitoba. The Storm is looking a little bit down, but you know, the mental strength, you know, to continue playing at 100% in a game like this is not to be underestimated.
Well, and that's what I mean by, like, the score doesn't reflect itself, because you can tell that Storm is really putting their hearts on the line here.
Yes, 100%. So just to recap, the score is now 9 for Manitoba and 3 for Newfoundland. All right, so come on, Storm. Newfoundland's got the disc. So what's going on is that Manitoba is really using that poaching strategy. So they've got someone who's staying long, and so Storm is really hesitant to put it long. And they've got poachers also on the inside. So they're really playing a zone defense, which is challenging now for
It is challenging
Storm.
because
Yes.
Storm, they want to really use and maximize their spacing to deliberately avoid congestion in the end zone and downfield cuts.
Yes, but we're seeing that they're not having any of those long options because there's that long defense. And now Kelly did the defense, and so their zone strategy worked. It's now in the hands of Manitoba. We've got Friesen with the disc, throwing it up to Redder, who catches it in the air, lands in the end zone, and Redder scores for Manitoba.
Just another dive. Looks like they're all ready to go diving.
Really good athleticism. I'm always impressed that they don't get any sort of carpet burn from this turf. You know, we're on this beautiful turf, but they all seem to be quite healthy.
It's the reboundsful youth.
Yes. So, Storm with the disc, looking up to number 8, Coffin. And then swinging it wide, just a little bit too far. Can't quite catch it. The disc is going to go back into the Manitoba hands. We've got number 60. Those are his. Number 60, McLaren, picking up the disc. All right. Wide swing to the other side, which totally opens up. McLaren again. Holding back. Steadwell to Tannehill. Tannehill looking for good option. Saw that there was an opening there with McLaren, but her throw was just a little bit wider than I think she intended it to be.
Sometimes playing mix can be tricky because as a female matching player or an open matching player, you have to adjust to either doing a throw with more touch or a throw that's more zippy.
And the angle and the defense, so everything taken into consideration. All right, number 8 puts it up just a little high and just can't quite hit Parmeter. All right, Charlie Tannehill picking up for Manitoba.
Here we go.
Long cut by Steadwell. And at the same time, McLaren coming in. That reverse. Great bid by Storm. Not quite enough to steal the disc. McLaren goes wide, and then it's caught in the end zone by Manitoba. What an amazing layout once again.
Third layout point in a row. And I think they are a diving team as well.
I think maybe that's what they do in the summer. They're a diving team. I love that.
Also, I wonder if it's easier to do bid layouts on turf because it slides better. Sometimes when you do your layouts on grass, there's a bit of you get stuck.
It's true. It's not as slippery. It's not as slippery. Well, I don't think any of that stopped our catcher, Jada Kelly, number 6 for Manitoba, who caught that amazing layout point. So back to Storm, who's making some energetic cuts. People are open, but then the defense is very intimidating. Hammer throw into the end zone, and it is caught by Storm's number 69, Gillespie. So a point for Storm.
I love the celebration as well. Like I said, Storm seems very resilient. They have a very huge sense of community as well. So they're keeping each other's morals up and supporting each other.
Yes. So one of the important things here in this game is to continue cutting hard and to continue making right decisions all through to the end. Because ultimately, it's every pass. If you succeed at every pass, then ultimately you win. And so that's what both teams have been doing, and that's what they're going to continue to do. Let's see here. Oh, Zhang. That's Kelly, Jada Kelly, number 6. Just can't hang on to the disc, which is a bit of a juggling act there. So back with Storm possession. Oh, what a fantastic grab and a fantastic throw for Storm, who's celebrating now. So we saw a wonderful catch by Montague, and that was sort of a high release, backhand, scuba. So
I think this was a break point too.
They could have been, yes.
Because they just had their last point with a great celebration, so it seems like they're really supporting each other and bringing back their morals up with their celebration.
Yes. So we've got number 60, McLaren. And Friesen with the disc on the sideline. Manages to swing it wide to Henwood. Oh, beautiful one-handed grab by Klassen. Klassen, oh, what a fantastic throw attempt. And it was caught. It was caught by Friesen. And Friesen's looking to do a blade, but it's intercepted by Storm's tall defense. Thériault puts it up. Back to Thériault. And Thériault puts it up again, and this was their point. Thériault to Dodd. And another break point for Storm. You're right. So that's 3 in a row.
They're catching up too.
So Storm is really, like I was saying before, making the cuts, staying in the game. Every throw, every point.
So it looks like we've got Toba calling a timeout, and it almost seems like they're trying to stop their rhythm because they've got a good flow Storm with 3 break points in a row.
They really do. So, I mean, that's a very good call by Manitoba to call a timeout. I read somewhere that they only had the one timeout per half, but per whole game. But maybe the coaches got a different set of rules. But anyway, it's a really smart move on their end to call that timeout because, as you said, that was 3 break points in a row. And so if they're trying to stop that momentum and get their head back in the game, that's a really bright move from the coaches.
I feel with Storm continue to adding more points to the board, then you'll really see and viewers can understand that this score did not reflect what's going on the field, the energy on the field, because Storm is really coming out a lot strong. It was just that little, like I said, cherry on top, the last point at the end zone, and finally it's clicking. Like we said, we just saw 3 break points in a row.
Exactly. And, Manitoba let down their guard just a slight little bit, and Storm was right there because they have not let up. So this could go either way still. I mean, it's a really good game. So Manitoba's starting with the disc. They're going to put a beautiful put to Steadwell. Steadwell's on the sideline. Swinging it wide to Klassen. Klassen puts it up. It is caught. A rolling catch. Looking to punch it in, but no, sets it back to Klassen. Klassen goes wide. A nice, beautiful high catch by Steadwell. Looking for Klassen, who gets it. Toba back in the game.
I think there may be a call as well.
There are hand gestures happening. We'll see what the players say. So this is one of the things in Ultimate. Players can discuss things, and sometimes it changes what could have been when there's a decision that's made by the players that are involved in the play. Not so much by the peanut gallery.
Yes. It's nice that they're able to communicate effectively. It seems like it gives them a great opportunity to problem solve together, to find solutions, to find a great way to communicate their ideas as well.
That's one of the things I love about Ultimate Frisbee. It's just such a analytical sport. So a bit of a drop there, and so Storm gets it back in possession. Coffin with the disc on the side, looking for a swing. Klassen nearly catches that in a layout. Sorry, that was Horn. Nearly catches that. Beautiful catch and throw. And it is caught by Tannehill. But no, it goes back to thrower. There was probably a call on that. Swing pass to Steadwell. Steadwell looking up, looking to do a swing. Steadwell uses the poached player, Tannehill. Tannehill to Wong. Wong got the disc, looking for an option, finds Klassen. Klassen in the center. Klassen to Tannehill. Everyone's far back, but Wong comes in, catches it, and it almost, sorry, that was Steadwell. Steadwell comes in, catches it. It almost sounds too easy.
Easy peasy. I found it very interesting, their strategy, especially how their bail seemed to always be open, and instead of swinging it backwards like we saw in Quick Noir earlier, they were able to send it to their bail, who was poached and parallel to the thrower. So I thought that was very interesting.
It was interesting. It's interesting that the bail is poached, It's one of those things you think like, oh, I can just poach on the bail. It's not so important. But it makes it a lot tougher for the offensive team if you've got a strong mark on that bail.
And sometimes when you throw it to your bail, it just opens up the field so much more as well.
100%, which is why I shouldn't give an easy option. A nice, beautiful, clean defense by McLaren on that one.
Very long arms.
And McLaren does the D and then goes in the end zone and catches it. So another point for Manitoba.
Those are always the best points, as I said. A clean D, and then you make the point. It's a nice bonus points.
It is. And that's another thing that I find so interesting about Ultimate Frisbee is that in order to make a clean defense, you cannot touch the other player. And that's a skill in itself, to be able to lay out in front of a player or grab like McLaren did just there in such a clean way without touching the offensive player, because we don't want any dangerous play, we don't want any injuries, but the defense still has that right to go in there and get in there first.
Especially when there's a mix of open and female matching players.
Yes.
Sometimes it can become very intimidating.
Yes, Beatty though, very tall, was on that and caught the disc. But there's someone on the side of the field who decided to say that she was out, but he's on the side of the field, so I'm not too sure what's going to happen with that.
Just a rule of thumb to viewers, people who are on the sideline are not supposed to share their opinion unless it's asked or advised, but I think it's an injury call.
Oh, he was on the field then. My bad, my bad. So that was a player that was on the field.
I have to say his gesture did sound like he was saying it wasn't out because he kept stomping his foot, but I think his ankle was, he injured his ankle.
Okay, here we go, here we go. So back then, all the way back there to before Beatty caught it, we've got the Storm player number 8, Coffin, with the disc. Throwing it to Beatty, who catches it again, up high. Back to Coffin in the center. Beatty goes long in the corner, hammer thrown to her, but that hammer just flew over her head and just a little bit wide. Don't think it was inside. Klassen with the disc, puts it long. She's got Wang and Steadwell, no, that's number 33. That's Henwood. Henwood. So Beatty then with the disc, looking for her teammates. Puts it up as a swing. Beautiful swing pass. A hammer throw to Beatty. Just flies between her hands. Klassen with the disc, coming up to the sideline. Got a box formation from Toba. Diagonal cut up. Big outside in. It is defended by Coffin. Denied. Coffin gets the disc on the sideline. Requests a timeout. And the timeout by Storm is taken.
So it looks like each team is taking one timeout per half, which you would usually see on a sevens field.
You would see on like a longer game, you would see that. So maybe that's what coaches are deciding to do.
If there's a mutual agreement, then usually there's some wiggle room.
Exactly. So during this timeout, they won't get much time after this. What do you think the strategy behind this was for Coffin to take that timeout on the sideline?
I wonder if it was a time for him to just get his team to just relax, recollect their thoughts, come in with a structured game plan. Because right before Manitoba had called their second half timeout, they had that flow. We saw it. They were doing 3 break points in a row. So I think maybe this was Coffin's opportunity to remind their team their potential and their resilience that they can come back.
Mm-hmm. And maybe also potentially give them a bit of a break because Coffin's been playing quite a bit himself. And sometimes those players just need a little bit of a breather. So Beatty going up. An amazing layout D by Wong, Jonah Wong from Manitoba, but something is called. So it goes back to Coffin on the sideline. Coffin's in a tough corner, it's coming into 4. So he needs to either do a swing or a long throw. Here we go, that was touched by Beatty, but just a little bit flown out and fell to the ground. So Klassen. Again, Klassen with the disc up the sideline, looking for someone to punch it into, and finds her target. So that was a 2-person point. It was Klassen and her teammate, number 33, Jack Henwood. So a point for Manitoba.
And we have about 3 minutes left of this game as well.
So being that the score is 14-6, there's a high likelihood that Manitoba is going to win this game. But both teams have been playing quite strongly. I'm liking the formations and the athleticism that we're seeing. And we've got Storm with the disc on their sideline. Intercepted by Bieber, number 11 on Manitoba, Rebecca Bieber. All right, Steadwell is going to grab the disc. Looking to make a cut. He's got a nice up the line. That's not satisfying. The reset didn't quite work. He's got turned into a blade. So Storm gets their chance. Thériault just touched the disc and went for a second attempt, but none of those two worked. So Newfoundland is really laying it all out there, just leaving everything on the field. And up it goes, and number 21 for Manitoba secures the disc. Steadwell again. Oh, there's a bit of a call. So the player from Storm was injured on her left leg, it seems, but still that is a point. So they have, I'm wondering if the whistle is going to be soon.
In about 2 minutes, we'll hear the whistle.
2 minutes, okay, perfect. So the players are lining up. I wonder what formation they're going to do. So they can sometimes come out with a box formation. They can come out with a vertical stack, a horizontal stack. We've seen some split stacks today.
A good strategy, especially for Toba, if they catch the disc and they're in offense, is just to hang on it, play a keep away, use the time to your advantage.
And we're seeing that Storm came out, they decided to come out with a diagonal stack, and Toba adapted and did sort of a diamond D around the stack. So there wasn't much that Storm could do in terms of offense there because it was sort of a zone around their diagonal stack. So Toba with the possession. Wong has the disc in the back of the field. Wong looking, finds Henwood. Henwood's tempted to throw it up, but is waiting for a good pass, and he puts it up to Wong. Wong just a little bit outside the end zone. Not quite in yet. Puts it back to Henwood. Henwood looking for someone in the front. Kelly's going up. Wong, Henwood, and Henwood secures the disc in the end zone.
And we have only 1 minute left, too, so this is a great way to end a game.
That was a point for Manitoba.
And there's the bell.
And that is the whistle. So there we go. Final score 15-6 for Manitoba. So a great game by both teams. Junior teams, can you believe it? Can you believe the level of athleticism and control of the disc that we saw for a junior level?
Junior level is really incredible to watch. Even this morning's game, too. It's very fun to see what the next generation of athletes are going to be like.
And they already are. They're so impressive. So congratulations to the Manitoba team. Congratulations to the Newfoundland team. Great game. Thank you very much, Kat. I'm Chantal Dussault.
And I'm Kat Martin. Thank you, Chantal.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow for more games at the Canadian 4-on-4 Championship.